Yo, what is going on, guys? Winner Kills here, and welcome to a brand new locals feature match. Here we are in round one, and here we have a pretty cool matchup. We've got Sunavalon on the left. I should say partially cool. We have Sunavalon on the left, piloted once again by Chandler, aka Chan the Man. I'm sure you guys have seen him on Crush Card's channel before. He was on, I think, like a week or two ago. Didn't have the best shot. Didn't open up super well, and yeah, it wasn't the best showing for Sunavalon, so hopefully this time around he'll have a little bit better luck going against our very own Jovu on the PK deck, but the different PK, not P-K, just regular Phantom Knights. And we're going to see that tour guide get hit with a Gamma, and that's actually going to do it for his turn. We're going to see our Sunavalon player lead with the basically key to combo here. Which is the Sunseed Genius Loki, I believe, which is basically what the whole deck kind of revolves around, a non-effect monster, right? Normal plant monster. And we're going to see him link into the Sunavalon Dryas. It says if this card is link summoned in the EMZ using Sunseed Genius Loki, as material you can add one Sunvine spell trap from your deck to your hand. This card cannot be targeted for attacks, but does not prevent your opponent from attacking directly. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of extra words there, but we're going to go ahead and see him get to search out the continuous spell, which is the Sunvine Shrine, and also going ahead and grabbing a copy, or activating now a copy, I should say, of Sunvine Sowing. Special summon one Sunseed monster from your deck, and if you do, take 1,000 damage. If you control no Sunavalon Link monsters, you can only special summon Sunseed Genius Loki with this effect. But since he does control a Sunvine Link monster, he's going to go ahead and summon the Sunseed Shadow. And on resolution of Sowing, we will see Dryas activate. It says once per turn, if you take battle or effect damage, you can gain that much life points. And if you do, special summon one Sunvine monster from your extra deck. So he's going to go ahead and special summon out the Healer. Healer effect is going to allow him to gain 300 based on the link rating. So Dryas is a link 1, so just gain 3. And then he's going to go ahead and link off the Shadow into another Dryas, and then link off the Healer and the second Dryas into a copy of the Melius. This card's link summon. You can special one Sunseed Genius Loki from your graveyard. This card cannot be targeted for attacks, but does not prevent your opponent from attacking directly. Pretty much every one of these say that. He'll bring back the Loki, make a second copy of Melius. And I don't believe that effect is a once per turn. So we can go ahead and bring back the Loki again and special summon another Dryas. And if it's link summon using the Sunseed Genius Loki, add a spell or trap. And that effect is also not a once per turn, so he has the Sunvine Sowing as follow-up, which is always nice to have cards like that for follow-up. Basically, E-Telly for, Sunseed and, yeah, I guess Sunseed monsters. And then we're going to see him activate the Shrine here. Activate this card by sending one card from your hand to the graveyard while you control a Sunavalon Link monster. You can special summon monsters from the extra except plant monsters. Once per turn during your main phase, you can special summon one level 4 or lower plant normal monster from your graveyard. So it's basically going to act as Monster Reborn here, and he's going to go ahead and revive the Sunseed Genius Loki. And this deck does a ton of link climbing mid combo. It normally sets up a really cool board, but we're going to see Nibiru at, I don't know if that's the best point, but I mean, this late in the combo, it's got to be pretty good. He's exhausted pretty much both of the known extenders here at this point, which are the Shrine and the Sowing. And yeah, I don't know how easy it's going to be to recover from this point. I know this deck does play the Adventure engine, but unfortunately not seeing it there is going to make things a lot more difficult, as we're going to see him pass turn there. Nib's going to run over the token, and he'll normal Ash to get into Anaconda, pay 2k, and it looks like the Anaconda will resolve here. Don't you just love when your opponent turns two monsters into a Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer? Gotta be one of my favorite things about this format, honestly. I don't know if you could tell the sarcasm in that one. Anyways, we're going to see him summon out the Enforcer. Battle phase, of course, already exhausted, so we'll go ahead and summon that out in defense. And setting one back row as well. It looks like we will see DPE fire off here in the end phase, destroying the Anaconda and that copy of Sunvine Shrine. And we're going to see him start his turn with the Genius Loki. And this could be a pretty tempting DPE. And it looks like it will... Oh, wow. The other set is just Scythe. So not only is he going to clear the best normal summon in the deck, but he's also now Scythe locked. Another great part of this format is how a lot of duelists can utilize Artifact Scythe. Gotta be one of my favorite things about the format. But yeah, either way, he's going to unfortunately have to pass there. Big surprise. DPE is going to die in the end phase because of Fusion Destiny's effect. It'll come back in the next standby phase. Tour Guide is going to come down, bringing out the graph. And yeah, this is probably just going to be game right here, unless he has Nibiru. I think that's probably the only way that he doesn't die here this turn is if he has Nibiru. Outside of that, I don't think any one hand trap's going to do it too much. I mean, it depends on what's in hand. I mean, normal summon's already been exhausted. Ash on Graph. Well, I mean, Ash on Graph in this case is not going to do anything because our Phantom Knight player has messed up his zones just a little bit. He won't have a spot to summon this here, too. At least a spot that will be protected by Cherubini. So BA will actually die this time. But he is able to still dump the boots, which can grab an extender here in the form of Shade. We'll summon the Shade and allow him to get access to Rusty. And Rusty's going to generate tons of more advantage. And that's already a lot of damage on board. And unfortunately, we will see that be the end of the game there. And we're going to head into game 2. And we're going to see Sunvine opt to go second here, which is an interesting choice. I feel like once you see that Scythe, you definitely don't want to take your chances going second against a deck like this in game 2, especially if you lost game 1, right? I mean, if you have the choice, you might as well go first. But I don't know how this deck operates. I've only seen it a handful of times. I don't know how many going second cards it has access to it, or has access to play like optimally. I know it plays a higher card count sometimes. I know last time I think it was 60 cards. I don't know what the card count is this time around. But we will see Torn Scales boot shenanigans. And Torn Scales resolving here, dumping one at the grave. We're going to see him link into the Cherubini. Discarding a Psyframe Driver. You'd love to see that card. And then we're going to see him send Graph. And we'll see if the Graph resolves or see if he has any interruptions here. I mean, I feel like, again, I don't know the deck super well, but I feel like you definitely go first here. And if they have Nibiru, they have Nibiru. You just put them on that. And you want to open Brave token stuff. Like, that's going to out Nibiru anyways. And then you probably play through a hand trap just solely on the fact that your opponent really doesn't know what's going on. Because let's be honest, a lot of people don't really know what the Sunavalon deck does. And that'll catch you free dubs sometimes. It's just kind of how it is. Not really a luxury you have when you play something more meta like Phantom Knight or Sword Soul or Prank Kids, because everybody knows the choke points, knows the best places to hand trap. But when you play against something that's rogue, kind of under the radar, you get that little bit of advantage where your opponent might hand trap at incorrect times, just solely off the little information that they have. So we will see Shade get summoned. We're also seeing Stain Greaves hit the field as well. And then we're going to see him go for a Link 4 here for none other than the Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess, getting 3 counters here. So this will help to protect the combo a little bit. Now you need 2 hand traps here to slow everything down. But of course, it does not stop the ultimate goal of the deck from losing to Droplet, because it only negates monsters. Or a simple Bell. Or a DD Crow. Because really, the big issue is the Scythe lock. I mean, coming from a Sword Soul player, playing through a board such as this, without Scythe, it's doable. With Scythe in the mix, not doable whatsoever. The only thing I wish Sword Soul had was an in-engine main deck boss monster, which I guess it kind of does in that of Iris Sword Soul, but that's a stretch, right? It's a good card, but it's not that great. Card I'd kind of want to test more in the deck, to be totally honest. But Appaloosa, I mean, Appaloosa is still a hell of a card. You can't deny that. So we'll see if there is a hand trap here. I do see Gamma for our Sunavalon player. Very high impact here. Proven time and time again this format. And it looks like Rusty will be activating here to blow up the Break Sword. We're going to see Gamma activate. Appaloosa will chain and negate, and a second Gamma in hand. So we will see the second Gamma here successfully resolve, bringing out the driver. And The first Gamma will not resolve, so Rusty will still destroy the Break Sword, because I don't believe that the first Gamma has an opportunity to resolve fully because there is no driver for it to summon. Yeah, it's a really interesting interaction, but I don't believe it can, like, resolve anymore. I don't know. But either way, I mean, it's not really an interaction you see too often, to be totally honest. But we will see him be able to recover here, getting into the Anaconda, paying 2k, summoning out the Enforcer, activating Boots here engraved to go ahead and search out probably a copy of Fogblade, just as I expected. He does have the Celestial Dasher follow-up alongside the classic Phantom Knight follow-up that's just ever present. And Rusty just being in the equation is always making things more difficult because of Fogblade bringing it back. And we will see Gamma and Driver get banished, and that will do it for his turn. So, luckily here, the Scythe Lock has been successfully shut down. No access to Dagda here. The only hope that he has a Scythe Lock is that he hard drew the Scythe, which most of the times you would think is bad, right? Hard drawing Scythe, but it honestly just allows you to skip a step, and it's just way easier just to get to Anaconda for DPE anyways, so Scythe Lock a lot easier to set up. It's just a matter of how protected the Scythe Lock is, and how much like better of a board presence can be put up. And of course, seeing Scythe in hand is not a very good extender, right? It's not necessarily going to help you make the Anaconda, but definitely can work out, as we saw in Game 1. So we will see Painful Decision, dumping and adding, and then we're going to see Unexpected Die, summoning out the Sunseed Genius Loki, and then we're going to see Enchantress of the Water Temple activate to go ahead and add Rite of Eremacir. Probably wishing he saw this engine in Game 1. It would definitely prove very helpful to stop the Nibiru, which, you know, might have been the only hand trap in hand. So we will see Rite activate, and that is going to go ahead and summon the token and go ahead and place Fateful Adventure into the spell and trap zone. That 2000 token. But DPE is on board already, and that will definitely challenge the Adventurer token engine. We'll see him link 1 for the Sunseed Dryas, chainlink 1 Dryas, chainlink 2 Fateful Adventure to go ahead and search the equip spell. And it looks like we're going to see Fogblade as chainlink 3 and DPE as a possible chainlink 4 here, it looks like. So not only does he stop him from getting the search, but he will also decide to clear the Brave token here at this point, which is going to make Wandering Griffin Rider completely inert at this point, although I don't see why you don't take out the Fateful Adventure. Sure, he gets to keep the token, but you have to put him on hard drawing Wandering Griffin Rider at that point. I don't know, getting rid of the token I can totally understand, but I mean, I guess if he has, like, can search Griffin Rider still, that's fine, but he can still search Enchantress for follow-up. I don't know, what would you guys have popped? Would you guys have popped the Adventurer token, or would you guys have popped Fateful Adventure? I personally probably would have popped Fateful, but I guess the consequences of leaving the token on field are a bit higher, because if he has Griffin Rider still, that's still very strong. I guess it also makes Draco back live. Well, no, he wouldn't get to search Draco back because it's Fateful is being destroyed before it resolves, so. And we will see him go ahead and search out Griffin Rider here, which is currently offline. He will discard that Gamma that was never able to resolve. And we're going to see him normal summon another copy of the Sunseed Genius Loki. And we're going to see him go for a Link 2 here. Looks like that will be the move. He's going to go ahead and send off the Fogblade since the monster that it was negating is no longer on the field. We're going to see him go for the Link 2, which is the Sunseed Dryades, or Dryades, which does not look like it has any effect on summon, but it does say, twice per turn, if you take battle or effect damage, you can gain that much life points if you do special summon one Sunvine monster from your extra deck. So it looks like we will see As he attempts to enter the battle phase here, I'm assuming we're going to see Fogblade bring out Breaksword. That's going to trigger Rusty, popping the Dryades. And that's unfortunately going to have our opponent, or our Sunseed player, pass turn. He does have the Griffin Rider in hand. He could have summoned the Griffin Rider and block damage, but DPE would be able to take it out anyways. And I don't know if it would have been game either. I think there was some talk afterwards of how our Sunseed player could have played that out a little bit differently. But I think the conclusion was that ultimately in the end it did not really matter too much. But yeah, that's going to do it for this match. Phantom Knight taking it 2-0 over Sunavalon. And if you guys want to see more of my content, click on one of the videos popping up on the bottom of the screen right now. And last but not least, like always, a huge shout out goes to our Divine level channel members who are Tweeter0226, Pony Stark, Cadillacs84, Keith Sidgers, Justin Lamb, and Master of Asa. Thank you guys so much for extremely kind and generous support of this channel.